Ensuring that veterans have access to the highest quality health care has been a VFW priority for nearly 120 years. To this day, we continue to fight on Capitol Hill to defend and expand the benefits that our nation's veterans have earned and justly deserve. With decades of care, delivery, and administrative experience, and an impressive 36-year military career with the United States Air Force, it should come as no surprise that our next guest and the organization he works for have become important allies to the VFW and our mission. As Humana's Vice President, Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Worthe Holt is a driving force behind Humana's continued effort to ensure America's veterans receive the timely, high-quality health care they've earned. Responsible for Humana's corporate clinical strategy, as well as the oversight and implementation of its bold goal, community-based healthcare initiatives, Dr. Holt's military experience provides both valuable insight and a unique perspective when working with clients and hospitals across the nation to improve the clinical care and health programs our nation's heroes have access to. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage retired Major General Dr. Worthe Holt.
Well, good morning. I guess most importantly, I'm a proud retired service member, and I'm so pleased to join you today. I'd like to thank all of our veterans and military families for your service, and to the VFW for inviting me to speak. It's great to be back here again this year, particularly after the wonderful reception I received in Kansas City last year. So in a nutshell, for most of my career, I served as a line officer fighter pilot, flying F-4s and F-16s. Later, I supported the development and maintenance of the pilot physician program and eventually led a medical group with the Indiana Air National Guard. I had the opportunity also to serve as Assistant Adjutant General for the Minnesota National Guard, where we flew C-130s, F-16s, and also served as home to the 34th Infantry Division. I completed my career as Special Assistant to the Commander and subsequently Chief of Staff for the United States Africa Command, where I had the opportunity to work with all branches of the service and agencies, including the Coast Guard. And I have to tell you, when I went to Africa, I had never had any idea that the Coast Guard played such a presence with our operations on that continent. Now, from a health and wellness perspective, in general, I've always found that service members, veterans, are extraordinarily resilient. Despite hardships, they handle injury and illness remarkably well. That being said, I see great need and opportunity, and in fact, quite a bit of dismay with many of the issues that all of us face, particularly post-traumatic stress disorder, suicide, as well as the social determinants of health, including food insecurity and homelessness, all of which I will touch on later. Now, that being said, good health care is not one size fits all, especially for veterans and active military. As a fellow veteran, I know firsthand the importance of having an ally that you can count on to achieve your best health. Humana is a health and well-being company that has a long-standing relationship with the military, and we're committed to providing high-quality health care for veterans and are constantly finding more ways to care for our members. That's why 50,000 VFW members, and many of you here today, chose Humana for your health care needs. That number continues to grow every day, and we take our responsibility for serving you very seriously. It's important to know that everyone at Humana demonstrates our commitment to veterans in a variety of ways. Our continued partnership with the VFW and sponsoring the National Convention is certainly a cornerstone to that end. Another way we support veterans is through our community locations across the nation. We have a special initiative for our Vietnam veterans too. In local communities and special events like this one, we present Vietnam veterans with a commemoration pin and a ceremony to honor, thank, and officially welcome our Vietnam veterans home. It's our privilege to have honored more than 1,100 Vietnam veterans since 2018 with these commemorative pins as Humana strives to show how much we care and appreciate your service to our nation. Thank you. But our commitment doesn't stop there. As part of Humana's ongoing efforts to provide resources, information, and guidance for veterans to achieve their best health, Humana and the VFW Veteran Service Officers have forged a bond to collaborate on veterans issues. For example, local VFW posts across the country have partnered with Humana and Care Plus to educate veterans about the healthcare options specific to their unique needs. And Humana agents participate in educational classes on VA healthcare and veteran benefits as well. These trainings allow Humana agents to be knowledgeable about guiding veterans to make the best healthcare choices and ensure that their family members are also receiving the benefits they're entitled to. We care about your livelihood too. Part of that is providing employment opportunities through our Veterans Hiring Initiative. While Humana's goal was to hire 1,000 veterans and military spouses by the end of 2014, I'm proud to share that we quickly surpassed that and currently have more than 4,500 veterans and military spouses working at Humana offices across the country. This commitment to hire, develop, and retain veterans, military spouses, and wounded warriors has allowed Humana to be recognized as a top 10 gold-level military-friendly employer by Victory Media 7 times. Humana is also one of the original corporate sponsors of the Entrepreneurship Boot Camp for Veterans with Disabilities, an outstanding program administered through the Syracuse University Whitman School of Business. This program has had more than 1,500 veterans graduate, with 72% of them starting his or her own businesses. And of those individuals, 92% are still in business and generate $288 million in revenue yearly. In addition, Humana is a longtime partner to the Department of Defense's TRICARE program and currently administers health benefits for more than 6 million active duty military and retirees, as well as their families across 32 states. We're grateful for the opportunities to help those who have served our nation and their families, as we know veterans have given so much of themselves for our country. That's why we support prioritizing several veteran causes here at home. As a veteran myself, I'll never forget the time that I spent in service. I have to tell you, 36 years seemed like 36 days to me. I'm proud of my service, and I wouldn't trade my experiences for anything. Now, admittedly, I joined up to fly jets. It's what I wanted to do, and it wasn't until sometime later that I developed a genuinely profound sense of patriotism. I learned a great deal about commitment and hard work from my father, Seymour Holt, who was a successful businessman and pharmacist, and he served at Walter Reed. And then later from my father-in-law, a career fighter pilot and Vietnam veteran himself, Colonel John Corbacero. At the age of 92, John still receives outstanding health care in San Antonio at the Audie Murphy VA Hospital. I'm very, very pleased with the care that he gets there. Through these individuals, as well as my own professional development, I grew to know and respect a discrete set of values. I also learned the importance of accountability and keeping promises. As a nation, it's imperative that we keep our promises to you. Now, I want to discuss values for just a moment. I was well aware of the Air Force values, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And through my work, particularly at AFRICOM, I learned the other service values as well, including duty, honor, loyalty, personal courage, respect, selfless service, devotion, and commitment to build the foundation of trust and leadership upon which our strength is based and victory is achieved. Now, those values have given me strength and they've guided me throughout my career, both civilian and military. I'll tell you, I used to get asked a lot, how can you be a doctor and a fighter pilot at the same time? And I gave that a lot of thought early on in my career, and I would say that both contribute to supporting and maintaining quality of life, our way of life, and what we deem most important. It's all about serving others in the context of values and behaviors that distinguish the United States of America from the rest of the world. My memories and experience have been magical, from flying jets to caring for service members to special operations and diplomacy across the African continent. And it's that strong set of enduring values that's helped to guide me through challenging times. And as I said, both the good and the bad, it was a spectacular experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. But as I alluded to earlier, I know that not everyone is so fortunate. We know that some memories are harder for veterans to forget, and as a result, they unfortunately take their own lives. In fact, nearly 8,000 veterans die each year due to suicide. This has to stop, and we're committed to doing our part to address it. Humana and the VFW team up on the Stop 22 initiative, which as you know aims to increase awareness that 22 veterans commit suicide every single day. Alongside the VFW, Humana hosted Stop 22 walkathons, which allowed us to donate and spearhead fundraising efforts for PTSD suicide prevention and awareness. And as part of our ongoing effort to assist veterans in their communities, Humana also participated in stand-down events to help more than 2,100 homeless and at-risk military veterans and their families sustain independent living in communities across the country. A key part of independent living is making sure you can put food on the table. As you heard earlier from our national commander, that can be a tremendous challenge. In fact, research shows that 25% of our nation's total active duty and reserve personnel seek aid from food pantries. No one should be food insecure, especially not our veterans and military families. With 1 in every 4 servicemen or women struggling with food insecurity, that's identified as a lack of access to enough nutritionally adequate foods to live an active, healthy life, Humana set out to improve this serious societal problem. The issue impacts Orlando residents too, as nearly 14% of Orlando residents face food insecurity. To address food insecurity, which can also contribute to poor health, lower productivity, and higher medical costs, Humana and the VFW teamed up with the national nonprofit Feeding America and the Uniting to Combat Hunger campaign to combat food insecurity. Leveraging Feeding America's network of more than 200 food banks and 60,000 food pantries and meal programs, we have staged numerous events to raise food donations since the campaign launched in early 2018. This year alone, efforts in the VFW districts of the Department of Florida contributed a total of 66,550 meals to the overall national campaign, supporting 6 Feeding America food banks in Florida, and you heard we actually far exceeded that earlier today. Food drives also are encouraged at our company-sponsored rock and roll marathons across the country to help food banks in every market. With upcoming runs in Virginia Beach, Savannah, and New Orleans, we are confident we'll be able to make a positive impact in those communities as well. We also encouraged food donations at the Rolling Thunder Run in Washington, D.C. over Memorial Day weekend. Now, some of our service members are deployed, and unfortunately, they never get to return home. That's why we sponsor the Rolling Thunder Run, bring awareness and accountability for the 60,000 POWs and MIAs still unaccounted for. And we also supported Rolling Thunder, the largest gathering alongside more than 1.2 million riders, setting a new record of support. Now, I've got to ask you, did anybody really think that Rolling Thunder wasn't going to happen? I'll be there riding myself next year. In Washington, we encouraged all participants and area residents to drop off non-perishable foods at the Humana tent or one of the 15 drop-off locations in the Washington, D.C. and Virginia area. There we go. Those events, as well as the others that I mentioned, have aligned perfectly with Humana commitments to veterans and addressing food insecurity, which is a key component of our Bold Goal initiative. Bold Goal aims to make the communities we serve 20% healthier by 2020. We're confident that by working together, we can help our neighbors and fellow veterans, as no one should be food insecure. Now, I invite you to learn more about these efforts, as well as Humana's commitment to helping veterans achieve lifelong health and well-being by visiting our booths at the health fair and the main exhibit hall throughout the convention. Again, it is an extraordinary privilege for me to join you here today. I'm grateful for not only your support, but certainly for your service to our country, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here at the VFW Convention. Thank you, and safe travels wherever you go. You're very kind. Thank you.